Salma Hayek on Hollywood's gender ignorance. Ooh, this is good. Okay, first of all, because this was a panel in accordance with the UN, also with Variety. Salma Hayek was a part of that panel in Cannes, and they talked about gender inequality in Hollywood here in this industry. But this was also, it's been about a week since the ACLU, they asked state and federal organizations to look in to and investigate the inequalities, not only with female directors, but also with the female leads. And they opened it up with a really sobering statistic that it says here that 4.6% of studio films in 2014 were directed by women, and not one Oscar Best Picture nominee this year featured a female protagonist. And then there was a film editor that was transcribing all of what Salma Hayek was saying via tweets. So I'm going to read his tweets. So Salma Hayek, quote, "Hollywood doesn't see us as a powerful economic force, which is an incredible ignorance." Hashtag he for she, because of the UN women, they're the ones that started that campaign, and this was for that panel. Also, 50 Shades of Grey, that made a lot of money. It still goes unnoticed, he for she. Parker Posey, she started to chime in. "I watch a lot of TCM, and those women from the 40s, there's so much wit. It's so rare I see that in movies now." And then we have a producer chiming in, Christine Vacken. "I'm so used to being patronized, it doesn't bother me anymore. It's part of the job." And then Salma Hayek again, "I've been on movies where the director wanted me, but the leading man didn't approve me, and I got kicked out. Our pay can never go up. We never get the opportunity to show that we can bring as revenue into the system. The only kind of movie where women make more than men is the porno industry." And then she says, "Look, we cannot stand as victims and say they are not looking at us. They do not care." Wow. So is Hollywood immune to the repercussions of gender inequality?
I don't know. I just think that Hollywood is probably one of the hardest industries to switch around and to try and take more notice of this, because you are based on what you look like. That's how you're chosen for your position, right? Because everyone's playing a character. So if you don't fit that character role, then you don't get the position. And I believe that makes it harder for people to take light to more work that women are doing in the industry. And I think that's completely wrong. Don't get me wrong. I think that it has to be addressed. And I think that, however, using the Oscars is harder for me as well, because people were complaining about how Selma was not up for more awards this year, when I just didn't think it was that good of a movie. So I think that the people who are in charge of the Academy Awards definitely have their agendas, but I don't think that it's an accurate statistic to say that because not enough movies produced by women or directed by women are not up for Oscars, that means that they're not looked upon as the same light, which they may well be statistically in terms of their income and stuff like that. But looking at it from an award standpoint, I don't agree with that.
But there's not a probability chance, though, either, because of the fact that there's a lack of diversity with African-American directors, with female directors. There's not going to be the probability that they're even going to be seen or nominated, because there's just a few of them that are out there. And that's frustrating.
This is not a new issue. I mean, yeah, you're right. Last year, Ava DuVernay was not nominated. Everyone thought it was, a huge upset. I mean, just last week, Lily Tomlin and Jane Fonda are on Grace and Frankie on Netflix. They're saying how upset they are that they were paid the same amount as their male co-stars. So this is not a new thing. But I would argue there's way more female producers now than there have ever been before, because women like Reese Witherspoon and Jennifer Aniston, who are these big leads, not getting roles they want, they're starting their own production company to create those projects that have the roles. So there is definitely a hole in the market.
But there's still a vast inequality, and that's what's frustrating. And I love that there is change. I love that people are outspoken, but it just doesn't seem to be like that there's an uproar. And we hear about these in these articles, but in comparison to other industries, it almost feels like that there's like this ignorance is bliss vibe when it comes to Hollywood, and it's so apparent too. We can all share our stories, just like within other industries as well. And there's another article where a number of different actresses and producers did share their stories, female producers, where they would be on set and it's just so blatant. It's so blatant. People aren't even trying to be politically correct or trying to sugarcoat it. So do you think that there's ever going to be a time where it is completely equal?
I think that you made a good point. Is you need more. You need more people involved. You need more women involved. You need more racial diversity in amongst all the positions of power. Because this is something I did my senior project done in school, is that people are saying now that there's more black actors. That means that we're progressing. But there's not as much more black producers or black directors, because those are the people who are in charge of what people are saying. Those are the people that are behind the camera that are making the decisions that really come across and how they want to portray those in front of the camera. So I think that you need more women, more racially diverse people behind the camera involved in the production side as well as in front of the camera.
I totally agree. You have to make this movement happen, you have to have a lot of people care. And I think there's an air of actors live this cushy life, and even if they're on set, who cares if she was, kind of mistreated? She still got paid $15 million to do it.
There's a lot of victim blaming. You're right. There is.
So I don't think people have to really care.
Yeah.
Because it has to trickle down to the people who, work real jobs where there is like an inequality in pay. So.
And it takes more people to stand up for it. Like Emma Watson right now is just unbelievable.
Huge.
Amazing.
Unbelievable at doing this. And I love the idea of that. She is targeting women to stand up for themselves, but she's targeting men to stand up for women. And that's what needs to happen, is because it's the problem is most likely is with men and not taking enough accountability for what if you're calling a girl sugar on set, don't thinking that is something that is actually maybe offensive to someone. And you need to understand that. You need to be able to understand it's a different time now, that women always need to be viewed as equal, and you need to understand that before you start making some assumptions.
I love that you brought that up, because not only, the He for She campaign, which is spread all over social media, it's so great. I love what they're doing, the UN doing this, but also the fact that, I forget in that other article, and I hope we can paste the link, because there was a number of different showrunners that spoke out, female showrunners and directors that said that they'll come on a television series and they end up losing the job because the executive producer or some of the networks will say, oh, you know what, we just don't think that this show is geared for a female showrunner.
Right. And why is that? Why does a woman have to do a woman show?
Right.
Why can't a woman do The Blacklist?
Yeah.
Or why can't a woman do CSI?
Right, exactly. So it's, and it's just sad. Like I said, there's no sugarcoating it. It's just so blatant. But hopefully, through time and more, boots on the ground, that mentality, that we can change things. And I think we are. I think we are on our way. So please, you guys, please continue to talk about this, share your stories, let us know what you think, and we will see you guys all next time on Pop Trigger. And big round of applause for our guest today, Jillian. And we'll see you.
Happy to be here.
So you have to come back.
I'm so ready.
Okay, good. And we'll see you guys all next time on Pop Trigger.